All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to try and make sense of the high-stakes, kind of crazy world of artificial intelligence. And to do that, we're going to use a metaphor I think you'll get right away. A very, very tense family dinner.
I mean, this quote just nails it, right? Picture it. You've got all the biggest names in AI sitting around this fancy table talking all about their high-minded values. But underneath all that, oh, the accusations are flying. It's all, you stole my recipe, and no way, you stole my recipe first. It is a complete mess, and honestly, it's pretty fascinating to watch.
Okay, so who's actually at this dinner? Well, let's meet our guests. First up, you've got Anthropic, playing the role of the principled one, but, with a few skeletons in the closet. Then there's Elon Musk's XAI. That's the provocative guest who'll pretty much try anything. Of course, OpenAI is there, the popular kid who's also got their own legal troubles. And then there's DeepSeek, the quiet one at the table who, get this, shares all of their secrets freely. Oh, and the host, that's the US Department of Defense, and they are about to ask a very uncomfortable question.
So like any good family drama, this whole thing kicks off with a little passive aggression before the food even hits the table. Elon Musk gets the ball rolling. He starts questioning the moral compass of Anthropic's lead philosopher, and even cracks a joke that the company, whose name literally means relating to humankind, is probably going to become Misanthropic. It's exactly the kind of little jab that just, sets a super tense mood for the rest of the night.
And that brings us right to our first course, the great recipe dispute. This is where things start to get really heated.
So, what are they all actually fighting about? You might think it's stolen code or some secret piece of hardware, but no. The real fight, the core of this whole argument, it's about a technique. It's a process that's both kind of brilliant and super controversial. It's called distillation.
So, what is distillation? Well, in the simplest terms, it's when you train a smaller student AI by having it learn from a much bigger, smarter teacher AI. You ask the teacher model millions and millions of questions, and then you feed all of its answers to the student model to train it.
Let's stick with the food metaphor. Think of it like a master chef and an apprentice. The master chef, that's our big AI model, doesn't just hand over their secret recipe book. Nope. Instead, the apprentice just watches, tastes everything, and takes millions of notes on what the master chef does. And eventually, just from those notes, the apprentice can cook a dish that's almost identical. Pretty clever, right?
Okay, so back to the dinner party. Anthropic suddenly stands up, points a finger across the table, and accuses 3 Chinese labs, including DeepSeek, remember them, of running industrial-scale distillation campaigns against its model Claude. And we're talking a huge scale here. 24,000 fake accounts and over 16 million conversations. They're basically saying these guys were spies in their kitchen trying to steal the secret recipe for their signature dish.
But, and you're going to love this, here's the incredible irony. Anthropic standing there yelling, "They copied my recipe," while they just paid a $1.5 billion settlement a few months ago. And why? Because they got caught training their own AI on millions of pirated books. So, yeah, they were using ingredients they never paid for too.
And the twist with DeepSeek, one of the companies they accused, it's even better. While Anthropic is painting them as some sneaky thief trying to steal recipes, DeepSeek is the one company that publishes its entire cookbook, its whole AI model, for free, for anyone to use. It's open source. So the company being called a thief is actually the most transparent person at the whole dinner party.
And this really just shines a light on the bigger picture, Researchers at Tsinghua University looked into this and found that, well, pretty much every major AI model shows signs that it learned from other models. This whole industry is kind of built on what they call recursive influence, one model learning from what the last one put out. Turns out, everyone at this dinner table has been tasting everyone else's food.
Okay, so just as that whole argument starts to die down, the host of the party, remember, the US Department of Defense, clears its throat. There's a sudden silence. They have a question for a few of the guests.
And the question is pretty straightforward. How will you help us with national defense? But the answers? Whoa, they are incredibly revealing. Elon's XAI basically says anything that's legal, no restrictions. OpenAI is like, yeah, we'll help with war fighting and stuff, but with some policy limits. And then you have Anthropic. They say yes, but they draw 2 very specific red lines in the sand. No mass surveillance of citizens and absolutely no fully autonomous weapons.
Well, the host is not happy with Anthropic's answer. At all. The story goes that in February 2026, the Secretary of Defense gives them a flat-out ultimatum: get rid of those 2 red lines. The deadline? Friday, 5:01 p.m. And the threat? They could lose their contract, get labeled a supply chain risk, or even be forced to comply using the Defense Production Act. I mean, the pressure is just immense.
So, the main courses are done. The tension in the room is so thick you could cut it with a knife. And now, it's time for dessert. And this is the part of the meal where we start to realize everyone here is a little bit messy.
And this quote just sums up the whole night perfectly. Everyone at this dinner has crumbs on their shirt. Every single one of these players has their own contradictions, their own little bit of hypocrisy. They're all messy, but they're way too busy pointing out the crumbs on everybody else's shirt to notice their own.
Let's just do a quick recap of the mess, shall we? You've got Musk, who critiques everyone else's ethics while taking military money with zero ethical lines. You've got Anthropic, holding firm on its military red lines while fresh off a massive piracy settlement. OpenAI is busy accusing others of copying while getting sued for copying. And then there's DeepSeek, accused of being a spy while being the most transparent one in the room. It's wild.
So what are you supposed to take away from all this? I mean, it's really easy to look at this whole mess and just get cynical, right? But here's the really crucial point, the thing to remember. The fact that this dinner party, this argument is happening at all, that is actually a reassuring sign. It's a good thing.
Why? Because these fights, as messy as they are forcing this entire industry to finally confront some of the biggest, most important questions of our time. Questions like, who owns knowledge once it passes through a neural network? What do these giant AI companies owe to their governments? What do they owe to us, their users, and to each other? And where exactly should we draw the ethical lines? The truth is, nobody has the answers yet.
And that's really where we have to leave it for now. The dinner plates might be cleared, but the bill is a long way from being settled. These fights are nowhere near over. Which leaves us all with one final question to chew on. What new arguments, what new alliances, and what new accusations are we going to see at the next family dinner?